Hi, I'm Frank, the low carb cocktail guy. Today's video is, if you saw by the thumbnail, is why don't you like gin? So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about gin today. There's a couple of different classifications of gin, some different types of gin. So we're going to really just kind of focus on two, a London Dry and an American style gin. For people who don't like gin, they've probably had Tanqueray, Beefeaters, or Bombay. I'm not a fan of those. I don't like them. I think they're too much juniper, and that's what makes gin gin, is it must legally have juniper in it, plus some other botanicals. I find that Tanqueray, Beefeater, Bombay, the juniper is so heavy, and the other botanicals will make it very piney, like a pine tree. When I'm having a drink, I don't want it to seem like I'm licking a Christmas tree. So then I tried, somebody told me, try some American style gins. So I gave that a try. Some of the other things out there, like Hendrick's. Hendrick's is a good gin. It's very strong with the cucumber. I'm not a fan of cucumber. I'm not a fan of Hendrick's because of that. Not saying it's a bad gin. It's a good gin if you like cucumber. So I'm gonna start at the bottom and work the way up for where my taste is on what I like, and I'm gonna tell you why. So we'll start off with New Amsterdam. Cheap gin. What I mean by cheap is this is 1.75 liters, a liter and a half. This is, I think, like 20 bucks. You can get a fifth for about 15. It's a great intro into American style gins. Now, with American style gins are usually more citrus forward, and the botanicals play a back note on it. So this is a great starter gin for someone who wants to kind of give gin another shot. I would start here if you don't want to invest a whole lot of money into it. But next, you can jump into things like Seersucker. As you can see, this is empty. Seersucker is a really good gin. It is a Southern style gin, right there across the bottom. This is 42% ABV, 84 proof. It's made in Texas and San Antonio. Really great gin. The iconic seersucker pattern is synonymous with the warm and inviting nature of Southern hospitality. So it's natural that we would name this incredibly approachable spirit Seersucker Southern Style Gin. Our slow copper pot distillation process, in combination with a recipe of light juniper, yes, citrus, and a unique blend of honey and mint makes Seersucker by far one of the most flavorful gins you'll ever experience. This is a very good gin. The citrus is really up front. The juniper kind of plays a second or third note to it. It's a really great gin here. And if you've seen in the celebrity news lately, Aviation Gin was owned by Ryan Reynolds. You know, Deadpool. You've seen some of the other videos I talk about Deadpool and their gin, and kind of you think it's funny with one of the commercials he did. But he just sold it for $610 million to Diageo, which is a big liquor brand, owns a bunch of different labels. But this is a really good gin. So here, start with this. You catch some of the juniper, but it's not a punch in the face juniper. It's a delicious light gin. And from what I understand, Ryan Reynolds found this gin somewhere, had a martini, I think it was, made with it, something. He had a drink made with, no, I think he had an Aviation made with Aviation, something like that. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds had this gin, liked it so much, bought the company. So that's kind of the story behind this. And it is a great American style gin. Batch distilled with an adventurous blend of spices from around the world. 42% ABV, 84 proof. Delicious, delicious gin. Again, citrus forward. It's a big thing about American style gins, that they're not real overly piney and not a punch in the face juniper. Now we'll go to my next one. One of my top two is a local gin made by 7-3 Distilling, and there'll be a link in the description below for this one, because I do know these guys will ship to you if your state allows, and that's pretty much most of the states in the US will allow them to ship to you. Man, this is some good stuff. So this, oh, it's right up front. You get a really strong citrus on it, and persimmon. That's a big note. This is infused with persimmon and elderflower. That really makes this gin stand out. It is a delicious gin. I don't know, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 empty bottles of this stuff. This is the best gin in my house that I keep. Now, well, not really. This one is. Also, Gentilly gin. The difference, this one's barrel rested. What I like about this one is a much deeper depth of flavor because of being rested in a whiskey barrel. It is absolutely delicious. It's rested, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 6 months, and I could be wrong. If anybody from 7.3 is watching, drop a comment below. Let me know exactly, correct me if this is more or less than 6 months, but I believe it was, or at least 6 months, I should say. But that barrel rested note adds a little bit of oakiness, a little bit of vanilla to it, a little bit of smoke. Oh man, some honey. I even get some honey on it. So it takes your regular gin and tones it down a little bit. So if you're trying gins like this and you still find even some American style gins are still maybe a little harsh for you, try this one. The barrel rested just really tones down a lot of the gin itself by adding some of the notes that you would get out of a whiskey, like the vanilla, the caramel, the honey, the char from the smoke, the oak. This is my favorite gin. So I do want to thank 7.3 for sending me this one. Oh, it's my baby. It's my baby. So guys, why don't you like gin? You're drinking the wrong gin. You should be drinking this stuff. This is around because sometimes I run out of this, and I'll go to this. This is not my go-to by any means, but that's my fifth backup is New Amsterdam. But by all means, I always have 7.3 in my house and Aviation. These are usually always in my house. This one, not so much. These always. Seersuckers, I'll grab a bottle occasionally on this if I'm looking for something a little bit different. But just the persimmon notes, the elderflower, and I pick up some lemon notes on it. I don't know what all it is. They told me once, because I did go to the distillery and do a tour, and if you're in New Orleans and they open it up again with this COVID stuff going on, by all means, go see Rose and Tristan at 7.3 Distilling. Take a tour because they have all the different botanicals in their gin. They have them there for you to kind of see what they are and kind of smell them, how they all blend together. It's a great tour. Those guys are great people, great ladies and gentlemen over there at 7.3. So, by no reason is this sponsored by 7.3. They just happen to be my favorite gin. I've been a fan of their stuff for years. They put out a wonderful product. They use all Louisiana sourced ingredients, and I can't speak enough for Louisiana ingredients and Louisiana distillers. So 7.3, thank you guys for making my favorite gin. So pick up some American style gin, whether it be 7.3, New Amsterdam, Aviation, Seersucker, but give gin another chance if you've been drinking those London Dries, and usually London Dries will say London Dry on the bottle. All right guys, so that's it for me. I'm gonna go make something with some gin. All right guys, see y'all later.